We're at the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, and I have the pleasure of talking with John and Dotti Bechtol, racers in all of the local nostalgia type races. John and Dotti, thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Very welcome.
You have a large presence in this sport. Both of you drive cars. John, why don't you tell us about the car that you drive?
Well, we're sitting on the 1972 Alfa Romeo Spider. It's a 4-cylinder, double overhead cam, wonderful car to drive. I'm having a ball with it.
Do you have a particular allegiance to one brand of cars?
I suppose we split our allegiance between Porsche and Ferrari. We like them both, and Ferrari might have a slight edge, but Dotti's racing a Porsche, so yeah.
Well, that leads me into my next question. Dotti, you're a Porsche. What model and what can you tell us about that car?
It's a 1972 Porsche 914-6. So it's got about 360 horsepower, and it's very nimble and sticks to the curves pretty well.
Have you always been a car person, or did this guy get you into that?
I always have been a car girl. My dad liked American cars, so when I was little I was always hanging around him in 57 Chevys.
How did you get involved in racing sports cars?
Well, when I met John, he had just sold a sports car, so we had that in common. And we decided to do things like autocrossing. We did that for a few years, and then we got hooked up with some of the local driving schools for car clubs, Porsche Club, Ferrari Club, and spent some time on the track, but really found that we enjoyed it and wanted more seat time. We looked at what kind of racing we could get into and afford, and it was vintage racing. Here we are 14 years later.
Now, a lot of the people that I've talked to, and you know a lot more of them than I do, they rate this as the best vintage race around.
It is. No other race, I think, generates quite as much in the way of spectators. Coming out of the one turn, you come up toward the golf course, you open up into the sunlight after being in the shade, and there's tens of thousands of people. And you just don't get that experience anywhere else. This is just an amazing place.
Also, this particular event, it covers 2 weekends. Any of the other vintage races like that?
Nobody has a double weekend race. We raced last weekend, as you know, at Pit Race. Nobody does this 10-day deal. You don't go anywhere and race on 2 different weekends. This is a very wonderful place. And as you know, we do stuff in between in the week.
And I notice it's a very social event for you. You've got an awful lot of friends and family here, and some good food too.
Well, and the party starts after I finish racing. So please stick around. Then the wine and the martinis and things come out, but not until we finish.
Okay, sounds like time to wrap. This is Tom Lang reporting for Open Throttle 360. Let's get to the party.
Yeah.